Promotional consideration paid for by the following. The Ohio Neck and Back Pain Relief Center, Scott M. Gray, D.C., across from the Marion Center between TSC and Kroger. For further information, dial 740-386-6580. Also located on the net at goodbackbadback.com.
You know what the greatest thing is about the exchange with Scott Spears? Well, not only do they have Scott Spears, but they got all kinds of fabulous guests, too. So tune in. The exchange. Scott Spears. Right here. Hello there, Soup here. Say, if you want to be really entertained, just tune in to The Exchange, starring my good friend Scott Spears, here on this station. You don't see Scott Spears using teleprompters all the time. No. He ad-libs everything. Is that okay, Scott?
Hey, Scott Spears along with you on another edition of The Exchange. Have a lot of fun. I hadn't seen that for a long time, that Superhost bit there that was just on. If you didn't know, that's how Charlie dresses up right before he goes to bed. You have pajamas just like those, Charlie, don't you?
Just like, yeah.
Just like those.
Got them at Goodwill.
Did you?
Yeah.
Where'd you get your cape at?
Salvation Army.
Salvation Army. Nice match. Mix and match. We are going to have a lot of fun this week. And remember, a week from today, that box, it'll be Halloween. And that box will be open. And we will find out what is in the box. Charlie, the box that was, it arrived here in late July. Beware, don't open.
Late July.
Late July, that box came, and I took the thing, and we looked at it, and it said, don't open till Halloween, and here we are on the cusp of the Halloween.
I don't think I'll sleep all till then.
You know what? I got a message. I don't know, maybe I'll say it, shouldn't say it, but I'm going to say it anyways. Your daughter is worried about what's going to come out of that box.
That's right, yeah.
See the worry, the panic this is
tells me every day. I don't know what you're going to do.
Charlie, I don't think there's anything in there.
You don't think there's anything in there, Marianne?
No.
Oh.
No, I think we're building up to a climax that's going to kind of flub. I could be wrong.
Oh, there's a lot of movies that do that, Marianne. We'll be in good company with movies that have built up and flub, but I think we're going to have a good time with that next week. Do you have a guess? Here we are a week away. Do you have a guess, Charlie? What's in there?
A guess? I don't know. Maybe it's a whole bunch of clothespins. Like I refer to, men that shave their head to look like clothespins.
But I don't even know that it has anything to do with bald men.
Oh, really?
It very well may not. There's no giveaway. Marianne, you say it's empty?
I say it could be empty.
But you say what could be in there?
I don't know what could be in there. I have no idea. But, I think we're going to all be surprised, maybe disappointed because we hear so much about it. And then it'll be anticlimactic when we see it.
I don't know. I think it's anticlimactic depending on who you're talking to. It might be climactic for some people. Doctor, what's in that box?
I have no idea. With those dimensions, I don't know. We've had some little dancing objects before. Maybe a giant dancing chicken this time.
Ooh, what if it could be the San Diego chicken, Charlie?
There we go. Yeah.
It could be Superhost.
It could be.
Maybe it could be your costume,
It
Charlie.
could be a whole spine.
It could be Halloween.
Yeah.
It could be a
There we go.
Could be
Skeleton.
A new costume to wear to bed.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just
Yeah,
going to be big. You better stay tuned for next Monday because Halloween night after you get your trick or treat, all your candy, that box will be open. And we've got so much to talk about this week. Mary Ann's got a guest coming in for tomorrow's program. Mary Ann, talk a little bit about the guest you've got coming in.
Well, she's a lovely young lady, and she is the public relations person for the American Auto Association. She came all the way from Columbus to be on our program, and we're going to talk about travel. And there's some new things that she has to tell us, so I'm going to be interested in what she has to say.
I'm a 53-year member of AAA.
Well, I'm probably not
Yeah,
that
you're probably close to it.
close to it.
And I've never seen either one of you take a drink.
No, that's AA.
Oh, I'm
that's-
screwed up
yeah.
on the things.
Right.
So that'll be coming up on tomorrow's program. And then on Friday, we're going to talk about political ads. Because in just about a week, that's another scary thing that's going to go on. We're going to have an election.
Oh, is that what it's all about?
You didn't know about that, Charlie?
No.
Do you vote?
Tell me about it.
Do you vote?
Well, sure.
Yeah, we're going to have a mayoral election here in Marion. We've got plenty of council members up for a debate. I think law director is up. A lot of stuff going on.
A lot of signs around the city.
A lot of signs, and it's going to get worse as we head into November.
I live in the country, though, and there's only one issue or two out in Clarendon.
What's that? Whether to pave the roads or not?
The fire department, some more money, I think.
Oh.
Although they may have withdrawn that. The school, I believe, it has a levy.
We have a lot of school levies coming
Yes.
up. Yes, we do, and it's been a long time since one passed in this town, so that'll be very interesting. And on Thursday this week, we have Tracy Tilka, professor at The Ohio State University, coming in to talk about body image and things of that nature. Do we like that? Skinny, tall, short, all those things that depress people.
Bald.
That's good. Bald. Charlie, kick it off by talking about fascinating
Okay.
facts.
Yeah, boy, here's something. I lost a lot of facts the other night. The village of Clarendon was ransacked, you might say. Almost a dozen homes, not the homes themselves, but cars were broken into. And so many things were stolen. And I still can't understand how they got in my barn, and I thought, oh no, my antique tools and everything. But they took a pair of my gloves that I bought for $1 at a flea market. and the sheriff found them. He brought them back. But they got a lot of goodies. But all over Clarendon.
Now, if somebody finds something that's been lost because a lot of stuff was taken, do they call the Clarendon Police Department?
Yes,
Okay.
right.
And that number, I'm sure, is online. If
It's
you
double
search
aught. Yeah, you just dial 2 zeros.
2 zeros.
Yep.
There you go.
But so I would advise people in any village around, because these thieves may hit most anywhere. I don't know if you should lock your car or leave it unlocked, but don't leave anything in it. No cameras, no billfolds, and things like jewelry. A lot of people leave their life's possessions in their cars.
I've never
unlocked.
done that. I've never done that. I never left anything in the car. I don't like to leave anything in the car.
No, you shouldn't.
I think that's an invitation for somebody to bash your window out.
Well, that's it. If you lock your car, and that's it. It's frustrating. Maybe the AAA people can tell us about what we should do with our cars at night.
Busiest travel day of the year coming up, day before Thanksgiving, I believe. That used to be the busiest travel day. So we got a lot to talk about right here. Mary Ann, words of wisdom on Monday.
Well, the theme this week is You Can Do It. And these first words of wisdom come from a very famous Columbus person we all know, and that's Jack Nicklaus. And this is what he says: achievement is largely the product of steadily raising one's level of aspiration and expectation. And that's true, I think.
Hey, I like that. And I like
Aim
Jack.
high.
Who said that? Jack
Jack Nicklaus.
Jack Nicklaus. I love Jack Nicklaus. One of the all-time greats. Dr. Scott Gray is with us, as he is each and every week. Doctor, what's new in your world?
Right now, we're actually doing some things to help kids look for scoliosis. Make sure that kids don't have scoliosis this time of year. Obviously, they're out doing their trick-or-treating and things. And what we're going to do is, starting on Halloween, on Monday the 31st, we're actually going to have kids come into the office and For a $20 donation to the Marion Children's Services, kids can get a full spinal check to make sure that they are, don't have any scoliosis or any problems like that, because the only way that we can tell if we have scoliosis is through an x-ray. So we'll do those if necessary and do a full exam and see exactly, the health of that child. And we're doing that to raise money for children's services as well. So we'll do that the whole week, starting Halloween, basically the 31st through November 3rd. To raise some money for them.
Now, I know I went to Marion City schools, and they did checks there. Do they still do those in school?
Actually, we've been asked to go out and do those. We go to a lot of the different schools around Marion, and we've been talking with Marion City schools, and we'll probably be doing that at the beginning of the next school year.
How prevalent is scoliosis?
It basically affects, the old statistics said 1 out of every 10 children.
Wow.
And it's getting worse and worse because if you look at, it's a hereditary thing. So if one of the parents has it, there's a 25% chance that the child's going to have it. If both the parents have it, it's going to go up to closer to 70%, 75% that child will have scoliosis. And for people who don't know, it means your spine grows crooked.
But my granddaughter has it. She's being treated at the Shriners Hospital in Philadelphia.
Yes.
And but nobody in her family has it. They can't even date back to whoever.
Yeah, in scoliosis, what we typically call it is what we call idiopathic scoliosis, which means that we don't know the pathology. We don't know what really causes it. And they know that when parents do have it, it's more likely that the kids are going to have it. But there are cases, just like you're talking about, where people have it and there's no family history and they don't know how it started, why it started. And there's a lot of different reasons, a lot of different theories out there. But we have a lot of kids in our practice that we treat for scoliosis, and can sometimes help them, sometimes can't. We can't help all the cases.
Well.
Is she?
Yeah.
Awesome.
She goes there every so often and gets new braces that
Yeah.
she wears. And she has a wonderful attitude about it. Because for a girl, it's pretty tough
Yes.
to walk around with a brace on.
I've got a cousin that had to wear a brace, and it's one of those things that, how concerned we are about our image and our looks, and when especially girls deal with scoliosis, if it's a pretty bad case, it can cause your shoulders to be off, your hips to be off, and it just, they can become very sensitive about that. So it's one of those things that you have to keep under control too, because if it gets bad enough, then it can cause heart and lung problems, because when the spine curves, it can put pressure on the nerves that come out from the spinal cord, and those nerves go out and control our heart and our lungs. And when they go in, and finally if they go in and do a surgery on these children, the Harrington rods and things that I'm sure people have heard of out there, that's because they want to stop it from going that
And she had
that far.
surgery. But
Okay, yeah.
these older people that you see that are way hunched over, is that a sign that they had it and didn't realize they had scoliosis and it wasn't taken care of, or is that something else?
Well, there's a couple different things. There's some where people are, forward some, and that could be from a curvature that, hasn't been addressed and it's caused some more significant spinal problems. But a lot of times we're dealing more with an osteoporotic problem, and that's where the bones actually start to fracture because they get weak. You don't have enough calcium in them. And then what will happen is the front of your vertebra start to crack and they start to break down. And what that'll do is, because it'll get shorter in the front but stay the same height in the back, so that makes it curve. So once that breaks down in the front, there's nothing you can do, and you're always going to have that curvature in your spine forward. That's called a Dowager's hump that people get from osteoporosis. That's a good question.
Now, doctor, when you go, if you do end up going into the schools to do this, because I don't know why this sticks out in my brain. I don't know how it's done for girls either, because they always separated, and the boys went in like the gymnasium, and the girls went in a locker room, something like that. But obviously you have to take your shirt off for this.
We actually don't do that.
Oh, really? Now, see, when I was there, they did.
No, we don't want to deal with doing all that. We can do a good screening without changing any of the clothes or anything like that. What we do is we'll check the shoulder heights to make sure that the shoulders are even. We'll check the shoulder blades to make sure that the shoulder blades are even. Even check the hip lengths, make sure that they're nice and even there. And then we have them lean forward for something that we call Adam's sign. Adam's sign is where when someone leans forward, they put their hands together and lean forward like they're going to touch the ground. you can look at their back and you look at the top of their ribs, and if one is sticking up higher, that indicates that there's a curvature in the spine. Because what will happen is when you get a curvature, it actually rotates your bones, okay, and your ribs come in and attach to those. So if it rotates, those ribs are going to push up on that side, okay? So that's why we check. We have them lean forward, and if we see those ribs come up on that side, we can definitely tell that there is a curvature there. So, you know, some kids have little signs, just like a shoulder that may be a half an inch to an inch higher, and some kids, you know, have the major change in the Adams sign. But you want to take all of them seriously, because there's honestly kids out there that don't have any signs, but still have a curvature in their back. Like I said, the only real way to tell is an X-ray. So if you have any concerns, you know, get that X-ray taken, you know, by a certified, you know, professional to find out if they have scoliosis. But you know, checking them in school, we can find the more severe cases, definitely in that situation.
I remember when that test used to go on, especially for the boys. That's where I was. A lot of boys, you know, if they'd had a scar or something, because you didn't take your shirt off a whole lot in school. If they had a scar or, you know, got a multitude of problems, you know,
Right.
maybe didn't
Skin, moles,
Yes,
or freckles, or,
moles,
you know.
warts. You know, I mean, it even gets down to, you know, some people are more affluent than others, and maybe somebody is not as clean as somebody.
Right.
There's 1,000 ways to, especially when you got a room full of shirtless boys, for teasing to go on.
Oh yeah, yep, and that's, you know, one of the things we avoid by just doing the simple screening, checking for the rib being higher on one side and checking for the shoulders. Can avoid a lot of embarrassment that way, just doing that easy test.
I remember that was a bad day for a lot of people.
So, yeah.
I remember that. It was a horrible day for a lot
I think we've all gone through days where we've been, you know, embarrassed like that at some point in school. I remember days like that for sure.
Yeah. I'm glad it's no more.
Well, there's probably still some embarrassing days. You never know. I'm not
Well,
taking
not
my shirt off
scoliosis
anywhere,
day
but
anymore,
yeah.
not scoliosis day. I wanted to talk, is chiropractic seasonal in any way? Are you busier every year at a certain time?
Well, I'll tell you, last year, especially when we had all that ice here in Marion, and it took weeks to get the ice off the streets and sidewalks, I had more falls last year than I've ever had in my office before. So, yeah, during that time of year, we definitely get a lot, and that's probably the biggest time. And then, you know, we're a little slower during the summer because people go away for vacation and kids are out of school and people get tied up doing their summer activities. So we'll be a little bit slower during that time. So, yeah, you can see fluctuations up and down, and it just, you know, depends on what the weather's like a lot of times too. Because sometimes on those nice days, people don't want to go to the doctor. They want to go out and enjoy, you know, those nice days. So when that summer breaks, you know, a lot of times we'll drop a little bit because people want to be out doing things. But then, you know, if they're out doing too much, they're out raking leaves, or they get golfing and, you know, they get a little bit through the golf season and hurt themselves. A lot of those, you know, seasonal injuries for the different sports that are being done, the different, you know, activities around the house. You'd be surprised how many people have accidents just doing their gardening, you know, throughout the year, throughout the summer and fall and those times. So
We've been doing this for a long time now, and I can't remember, this seems like the most obvious question. I can't remember if we've ever talked about it before. But has chiropractic's really been, is insurance situations better now?
oh yeah, definitely. I'd say it got a lot better in the 80s is when it really started to pick up. It was really in the 70s and before that you didn't see much coverage for chiropractic. And now I would say 98% of the insurance companies cover it. So, you know, we participate with Medicare, all the, you know, Medicaid, Molina, CareSource, they cover it. Your Anthem, Blue Cross Blue Shield's a big one, Aetna, United Healthcare, Medical Mutual, all those big ones, they all cover chiropractic. And it depends on what company you work for. I mean, some companies work for Aetna, or work for a company that they've got Aetna and they get, you know, 50 visits a year, or some people have Aetna and they only get 12 visits a year. So it depends on your plan, and we like to check that for all of our patients when they come in so they know what kind of benefits they have and they can, you know, get their adjustments accordingly. And we hate to dictate, you know, what people need by what the insurance covers, but a lot of times people are strapped to that and have to do what their insurance covers. So typically you're about 12 visits and up per year for each person.
See, that's the interesting thing that I always wonder about insurance when they make those cutoffs.
Mm-hmm.
You can only get if you're there and the person comes in and says, this is my problem, and you do a screening and you say, this is what you need to get better, but the insurance will only cover this. Do you go ahead with that, or do you say, this, honestly, this is the problem. I can't go beyond this point because of the insurance you carry, and this is probably not going to help you very much. Not going to be the full solution.
Well, what I do with my patients is I just really show them the options. I show them what's going on. A lot of times I'll show them the x-rays and show them, with the exam, this is what we found, and your insurance covers this much. My ultimate, plan to fix the problem would be this. And sometimes it falls within the insurance. Sometimes it's more than the insurance. And, I show the patient both options, and, it's up to them. It's up to the patient. We show them the different things out there. And, if you really want to fix it, this is what you need to do. If you can't do that, we can just do enough to, just something simple to start out, get them some pain relief until they really can do more later on. So we show them all the options out there and let them pick what's best for because we need to balance budget and balance the care so that they feel better.
Well, I think that's the big question with all doctors. And how does that make you feel as a doctor?
It's frustrating. Yeah, I mean, it's really frustrating when we know what is going on with the patient, and we know that they need so many visits to eliminate their pain and to feel better, and it's a problem that's been there for years, and then the insurance company says, well, you need to be able to fix them in 12 treatments. Well, this problem's been going on for 20 years. How can I fix this in 12 treatments? And, it's frustrating because people come in thinking, well, if my insurance covers it, I'll do it, but I'm not going to do any more than my insurance. And when people get in that mindset, they really start to rob themselves of, the health and things that they can experience. And if we let insurance dictate our health care, we're going to be pretty sick, and we're not going to be able to get very healthy, because they're really based on disease care. They're based on, they don't do what's called maintenance care or wellness type care. Everything they do is for if you're injured, just enough to get you feeling better, but not really fix the problem. And so it really just kind of always keeps us sick and coming back.
I heard something interesting the other night in the insurance field when they were talking about former Governor Romney, because of course he's in the news.
Right.
When he was in Massachusetts and they had passed the health care that's similar to what would be universal health care, that Massachusetts certainly does not have a balanced budget now because of it, but that people are healthier. It's interesting. Which do you pick? Which side do you fall down on that?
On that, I mean, I don't think we should have universal health care. I think it should be privatized, but there needs to be a lot of reform that happens. I think we really need to look and see how our insurance is based on, because like I'm saying, right now it's based on disease care as opposed to wellness, where if people, the research is out there saying that if people get chiropractic on a regular basis, just in our field, because that's what I've researched, is that, if we get chiropractic on a regular basis, there's going to be a lot less instances of serious back pain. There's going to be less surgeries, which in the long run will actually save those those companies money, because there'll be less surgeries, less serious problems, and they don't want to focus on wellness. They just focus on when we're sick. And that's got to change, because we're never going to be able to sustain a good healthcare system if we're only paying for when we get sick, because it's almost too hard to fix people at that point. And with lifestyle too, with cigarettes being legal and drinking being legal, which I'm not saying those things need to be illegal, but goodness gracious, we're killing ourselves, and then we're mad because we don't have insurance. It's like, well, if we'd stop smoking and doing all these things that are killing ourselves, we wouldn't have these big insurance bills. I mean, all the COPD and the emphysema and the cancer, we'd have a lot less out there, and a lot of it's our fault.
It's interesting though, because obviously history, we tried to get rid of alcohol at one point.
Yeah.
And that didn't go very well.
Right.
For us as a nation, and for as much as, and I've never smoked a day in my life, but for as much as smoking is hazardous to your health, and goodness gracious, it certainly is, people made a lot of money off of it.
Yeah, and I think that also, the thing is, we can't sit here and complain and say, I deserve health care, when people are out there making such bad decisions, it's costing, like, we can't support a nation of people that smoke and do all these. It's not just smoking. I'm not just picking on the smokers, but the bad foods that we eat. It's like we're out there killing ourselves, and we say we deserve health care. I don't think that's right.
Now it's marijuana. Have you heard that?
Well, you know-
Now they're trying to legalize marijuana.
And they say a lot of people say it's just as harmful with the tar and things like that. Mm-hmm.
You know, the interesting thing is, though, as I've said, I've never smoked, and I don't really take a drink. But when Charlie and I got into it one time on the food thing, I'm telling you, I think there are always things that are going to be bad for you. I mean, just in general, there are going to be bad things. If you drive when you have bad eyes and you don't wear your glasses, you're going to be in trouble. That's not a good thing to do.
Yep.
When you start, I remember the whole trans fat ban in New York. You know, at some point it has to be your decision. You have to decide. And you know what? Some of those people, when they're young, smoking, not a whole lot of people develop lung cancer when they're young. And those young people are working for companies that have insurance. So, you know, they're carried then. So it seems, it just, you got to do what you do. Pick and choose. If you show up at work, you'll keep your job. If you don't, you're fired.
Yeah, I guess my big thing is that, you know, we have to understand why we're in the predicament that we're in and realize that, you know, we can't just be given insurance for diseases that we're causing by choices that we make. And if we really want cheaper health insurance, we need to stay healthier.
I got to ask you this with no time left here, so really quick. But if and this is just a counterpoint to that, is cancer a disease that we cause or a disease that just happens?
Both.
Which is, where do you draw the line?
I think most of it's preventable.
What if you have lung cancer and you were a smoker, but you have lung cancer and you weren't a smoker? Do you treat the person who was lung cancer and wasn't a smoker and not the person who was and has it?
No. I mean, I'm not saying that. No, it's a good question. Maybe we should get into that next time. I don't know. So, okay. I don't know how long of an answer you want.
Talk
for a while.